is the website example I gave, which is, if I'm offering free website speed tests to business owners and they didn't know their site was slow, and then I say, hey, on average, for every second of load time, you lose 3% of your conversion. And so right now, we know that our services could take you from a 9-second load time to a 3-second load time. That's 18% increase. So what could you do with an increase of 18% of your business? They might be like, a lot. And I'd be like, now relative to your revenue, the 18% increase compared to what I'm charging for websites is nothing. How soon do you want me to start? And so this works great for problems that get worse while waiting, right? Posture analysis, right? If you're like, oh man, your posture's bad, but it's only gonna get worse, right? Termite inspections, like they're already active, but it's only gonna get worse. Financial audits, hey, you're back on taxes or your cash flow's bad, it's only gonna get worse, right? Is that you wanna have things because that builds in urgency so that deprivation actually increases with every second after they find out. I'll give you an example. So one of my highest converting ads of all time for Allen, our software company, was 4 reasons why you'll never have $1 million agency. And what was crazy about that is it just increased deprivation for the outcome that most of the people wanted, who we were selling to, which are small SMB lead gen agencies. And so once we listed out the reasons, many of them were like, shoot, all 4 of these reasons I'm also suffering from. And so if you can be very clear about the reasons that they're not going to achieve it, they also will assume that you can help them solve it, which hopefully you can. And so you're going to be incredibly specific on the negatives, and then what that allows you to do is be significantly vaguer on the positives, which allows you to market more compliantly, but also set more realistic expectations. If I can perfectly nail all the problems in your life, and you're like, oh my God, this is me, I can just, and I just said, I can help you with that, you'd probably be like, yeah, I believe you, right? Rather than trying to increase and promise and set these crazy expectations, just nail someone where they're at. And so that's why the reveal a problem is so important, because 1, it exacerbates the existing problem, and 2, you just show how much it's going to continue to increase and they will lose over time. The second is a free trial. All right, this is the classic taste test. This is the classic try before you buy. All right, now this is as old as time, and I think that there are better and worse ways to do this. This is the Costco sampler. This is the teriyaki chicken. This is the trying room, if you will, at the clothing store. So many businesses have free trials, and they do that because they're the lowest barrier. Like, are you going to want it? And so what we actually have to do here, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, is that we want to give them something and then basically have a full loop to the end of the trial where they will be deprived if we remove it. So it's almost like, hey, let's say we take a normal person and then we say, hey, here's crack cocaine, right? All of a sudden, they might not have had deprivation around crack cocaine, but let's say they try crack cocaine, and then as soon as you remove crack cocaine, all of a sudden, they want crack cocaine. And let's see how many times I can say crack cocaine, all right? And so the point here is that the free trial just makes the barrier so low that people can try something, and then the idea of us removing it is what then gets them to convert. So it's like we give them the solution and then take the solution away in order to create the deprivation to get them to buy. And so typically here, you're gonna be limiting some aspect of the product or service. You're gonna limit the number of uses, the quantity, the time, or some combination of those. So it's an X day trial, or you get this number of hits, if you will, and all of those things kind of combine, and sometimes you can combine them together to make it even more compelling. So when we own Gym Launch, one of the things that we would do in order to get people to basically roll into our higher level services is that they would, basically buy the system that we had for monetization, which is how to make the gym more profitable. But then along that time, we'd say, hey, we'll actually give you agency services for free for 4 months. And then after that 4-month period, once they were kind of like, okay, wow, this is great, I get these leads and I have a system for monetizing them. After that point in time, you're like, well, I still want leads. And we'd be like, yeah, but now you can pay for them, right? And so it's basically a built-in upsell.